Hey beautiful people, this video is about high functioning team frameworks. I want to be able to help you to understand what are the frameworks that you can use to be able to start observing the capacity of teams to be high functioning and build that function capacity over time. Frameworks, I have found, make the invisible visible, and they allow you to be able to see things that you would not otherwise have seen or that you are not attuned to paying attention to. So this video will help you begin to build that attunement. If we understand what's really driving our best teams, and we also understand that there is a four-phase loop that underpins some really great projects or some of the greatest projects in the world, it'll help us understand what high-functioning teams really look like. And it'll also give us an execution blueprint, which is something that I give to my clients and hopefully will also be valuable for you. So my name is Jennifer Kenny. I'm the best-selling author of The Innovation Mindset and award-winning author of 100% Capacity. I run programs for clients to help them be able to build their execution capacity over time. And what I do is I look to do it for them in a way that allows them to be able to accomplish sometimes enormous, amazing, fantastic goals in terms of product development, product delivery, drugs to market, really being able to deliver value for their external customers and at the same time building a new understanding of what it means to have internal customers. So by the end of the video, I want you to be able to understand what the execution layer framework looks like and what it can really do for teams. And I want to introduce you to an element of the execution layer framework, which is the coordination loop, and how you can use it to really begin to diagnose team issues. So if you're already on a team and you know that there are problems, you're looking to join a team and you want to be more discerning around the quality of the team and the high functioning capacity of the team, or you're looking to be able to build your own team, which hopefully you are, then I want you to be able to see this as an underpinning framework for everything you do when you're looking to build a high functioning team. Execution by design really looks at the idea that high functioning teams are built on a basis of understanding what I refer to as execution capacity. And execution capacity covers many different aspects of what it means to have a high functioning team. And I've covered that in the video, which is the definition of a high functioning team. So I want to refer to it here, but I want to be able to dive in a little bit deeper with you in it so that you can begin to look at it as a framework for building a high functioning team. When you start thinking about high functioning teams, it's important to look both at the macro capacity of the team and how you build that and what it means to build that and what are the elements of that, and then also look at the micro day-to-day practices of the team, because they actually inform and support each other in a very important way. One of the most powerful frameworks that I have ever used or come across, which is why I write about it and talk about it, is a framework that was built out of work that was done in Oxford in the 1960s by an amazing philosopher called John Searle. And he used this framework to build shared languages in teams. One of my clients was asked at some point, what does Jennifer actually do for you? And she said, well, what Jennifer does is she helped us build shared language around what excellence really looks like, around what execution really looks like. And so what I'm doing when I'm running these programs for organizations is I'm helping them build an understanding of how can they talk about what a high-functioning team actually looks like in a very pragmatic way that is also helping them immediately move into execution and learning how to be more effective with that. One of the primary elements for doing this, one of the simplest elements for doing this, is really getting people to be able to understand the difference between lobbing work over the wall at each other and assuming that the other person knows what it is that needs to be done, and assuming that the work will be done, and assuming that the person will do the work because they work for you or they work for another team, company is paying them, that's their job, to moving into an environment where we actually create an ability to be able to co-invent with each other. As I've said in a number of other videos, our ability as human beings and our knowledge and the complexity of our science has grown exponentially in the last 50, 30 years. And so what's happened is we now have areas of specialization that we couldn't even conceive of 50 years ago or 60 years ago. And we have people who have very, very small slices of expertise coming into teams and looking to be able to create levels of excellence and levels of mastery and fantastic projects with other people who are similarly positioned. If we are not able to help those people co-invent with each other, create something together, build on top of each other's knowledge and expertise, respect each other's knowledge and expertise, then what we're going to do is we're going to be driving them constantly to try and produce results that they're really not in a position to be able to produce because they don't have execution capacity, they don't have coordination practices, they don't have an understanding of how to really build those agreements with each other and build a shared language together so that they can deliver real value for each other. So we coordinate with each other through language. We talk to each other about what it is that we want each other to do. If you start thinking about that and you leverage the work that Searle did in England in the 1960s, I think it was, you'll see that there's a coordination loop, which is a picture of it here. And what you can see is coordination is really that micro level conversation between customers and performers where they're going through 4 phases, which is they do the design, the development, the delivery, and the declaration of satisfaction at the end of it. So as we start recognizing that coordination happens both at the micro level between individuals and at the macro level in terms of higher level context that, say, the leader of the project is making to the head of product, then what happens is we begin to see that there are networks of these commitments happening all across the organization. That is effectively the map of our execution layer. If we have shared language around that, what we do is we now begin to see that we've got a framework for designing it, for thinking about it, for understanding it. Do we have a framework that gives us a blueprint that allows us to get it right? Probably not, because what happens in most teams that I work with is we're now at the level of sophistication of understanding of our ability to be able to anticipate everything that's going to happen, that we recognize we can probably anticipate 50, maybe at a push 60% of the outcomes that we're looking for, and that we have to allow for a certain level of miscoordination, miscommunication, breakdowns on one hand, and also new learning, new opportunities, new innovations that will allow us to be able to accelerate, while the breakdowns might actually slow us down, or we'll learn something from them that we then move into the acceleration column. But what happens is we're now beginning to build a framework that allows us to look at, okay, this is a network of commitments that are happening across an organization. There's a hierarchy in those. There's primary commitments that we make, secondary and tertiary ones. And we can recognize that my job at the micro level is to be able to do that coordination. The VP's job at the macro level is to be able to do that coordination. And they actually nest and sit inside each other. As we start understanding this as a framework for execution, what happens is we begin to build awareness of the importance of our human ability to be able to recover when things break down, when things don't work the way they should work. And so one of the elements that we talk about for high functioning teams is our ability to normalize, repair, and redesign. A team that builds a huge capacity to be able to do that is really a team that allows themselves to be agile, to reduce waste, and to be able to leverage a framework like the execution framework. I've written a white paper about this that I think will help you. The execution framework is covered in a paper called Execution by Design. It's available on my website, which is www.jenniferkenny.com/execution. It's a free resource. It's available on my website. Download it. Let me know whether it helps you think about the framework. Drop me a note in the comments, and as you look to build high-functioning teams, I wish you the very best of luck, and I am here to help in any way I can. Let me know. Take care.